During the school's annual health inspection, students line up to have their height and weight checked. When Sayi's turn comes, she feels embarrassed as the professional calls out her measurements. Afterward, her friends immediately crowd around to ask about her results. Feeling insecure, Sayi tries to avoid them, but in her rush, she stumbles and accidentally breaks the door. Noticing her state, Koki approaches her with concern, helping her up and handing back her checkup form without even looking at it. They exchange a brief goodbye, and Sayi quickly fixes the broken door in seconds, astonishing her friends. As they watch Koki leave, her friends begin whispering about how cool he looks, speculating that he might be a player. Sayi immediately denies it, insisting he's not like that. Her friends then recall that Sayi and Koki went to the same elementary school. Sayi admits that even back then he was already cool, but he's changed a lot since. In truth, Koki wasn't just a classmate to her, he was also her first love. It's a long story, but what Sayi remembers most is that she used to be the tallest in her class. Despite her height, she was quite cute, and students from higher grade levels adored her. They would often gather around her, fascinated by how excited she got over school lunches. While everyone was buzzing around Sayi, her attention was drawn to a timid boy nearby. He looked shy, and his mom had mentioned that he didn't eat much and was scared of milk. Curious, Sayi approached him and asked if he was allergic to milk. He admitted that he just didn't like it, so she offered to drink his milk for him. That moment sparked their friendship, but for Sayi, it felt like love at first sight. From that day on, she always drank milk for two. They ended up becoming classmates for 6 whole years, often sitting beside each other. Whenever Koki was called for recitation, Sayi would whisper him the answers, which usually got both of them scolded. Still, Koki would always apologize afterward. Since elementary school, Koki would always remind Sayi about PE, knowing she excelled in sports. One day during a ball game, Sayi noticed a kid aiming at Koki. Without thinking, she jumped in to block the ball, accidentally knocking Koki to the ground. Because of that, he was forced out of the line and eliminated. The other kids started teasing him, and Koki ran away in embarrassment. At lunchtime, they sat beside each other as usual, but neither of them spoke. Sayi noticed how much Koki liked takoyaki, even though he wasn't fond of school lunches. Feeling guilty, she apologized and offered him her plate. To her surprise, Koki also handed her his, having noticed her sad expression. So they ended up swapping plates. As they grew older, Koki began focusing on soccer. Even though he was skinnier and smaller than the other boys, Sayi always thought he looked big and cool. Back then, she was relieved that none of her friends were interested in him. But everything changed in 6th grade when he suddenly grew tall. By their 3rd year of junior high, everyone around them saw how cool he had become. Sayi almost didn't recognize him at first, especially when he greeted her with a much deeper voice. They had started out so close, but their friendship seemed to fade rather than grow. Sayi told herself she had to stop having a crush on him, as Koki's sudden popularity made her feel a little lonely, even if it meant others were finally noticing the side of him she had always admired. Deep down, she knew her feelings were one-sided. And now she couldn't tell anyone she liked him, not when Koki had become someone admired by everyone. The next day in class, Sayi follows their usual routine when the teacher suddenly asks who their class representative for the sports fest is. On her way to the meeting, she notices the door she broke yesterday already has a warning note plastered on it. When she reaches the meeting room, she finds Koki there alone. His face lights up when he realizes Sayi is the class rep for Class B. Soon, the other class reps also start arriving. The meeting proceeds as usual until the teacher brings out a large piece of fabric for the school banner. He suggests that a few students from each grade work on it, but everyone seems uninterested since it's too big. Seeing this, Koki approaches Sayi and asks if she wants to make the banner with him. Since she's the only person he knows there, Sayi has no choice but to agree. With that, it's decided that the two of them will be in charge of the banner. The next day, while Sayi is finishing her tennis practice, Koki is already waiting for her by the court. When she's done, he approaches her, drawing curious looks from her friends. They head to an empty classroom, spread the fabric on the floor, and think of a design. To her surprise, Koki already has a clear plan. He's always been artistic since elementary school, and when he shows her his drawing, Sayi instantly agrees with it. They decide to start right away, and Sayi volunteers to get the paint, partly because she needs to calm herself down as her hands are trembling just from being near him. After calming herself, Sayi heads back to the classroom, and in no time, the two of them finish the banner. Suddenly, an instructor walks in and scolds them for staying in the room so late. They quickly explain what they're doing and show him the banner. The teacher comments that the design might not be appropriate, but Sayi immediately defends Koki's art. Seeing this, the teacher decides to bring the banner to the office and tells them both to head home. As they part ways, Koki suddenly realizes his bike key is missing. After searching everywhere, they still can't find it. Koki is about to give up and walk home, but Sayi refuses to let that happen. She encourages him to think carefully about his morning. When Koki closes his eyes to remember, Sayi becomes flustered just watching him. To her surprise, he finds the key in his pocket the entire time. Sayi is relieved that Koki found his bike key, but it's already late. Koki offers to give her a ride home, telling her to hop on his bike. Sae immediately declines, worried about her weight, but Koki reassures her that it's fine. He even mentions that he often gives his soccer teammates rides and they're heavier than her, so it won't be a problem. As they ride home, their conversation flows naturally. They talk about the upcoming sports fest, with Koki mentioning how Sae is joining the relay because of her speed. Sae, however, secretly tenses up. Koki remembers exactly where she lives, and they end up reminiscing about school lunches, how he used to be picky but isn't anymore, and how lunches have improved now that they're in junior high. Suddenly, a loud popping sound interrupts them. The bike's tire bursts. Sae immediately apologizes, thinking it's because of her weight, but Koki assures her it's just a shard of glass. Despite this, he still insists on walking her home. Koki recalls how she used to let classmates go ahead during obstacle races and gently reminds her not to hold back anymore. As they walk, Koki casually brings up high school. Sae shares that she's going to North High, and to her surprise, Koki is going there too. They realize this is the first time they've talked this deeply in a long while, since they rarely ended up in the same class during junior high. When they reach Sae's house, she reflects on how easy their conversations are. Koki has always been someone who can talk casually with anyone. Even though she wasn't the one who found his key, he still offered her a ride home because that's just how kind he is. The next day marks the start of the sports fest. The teacher asks Sae to move a huge pile of tug-of-war ropes and suggests she get Koki's help. But since he's surrounded by a group of girls, Sae decides to handle it alone. She struggles to drag the heavy ropes but refuses to interrupt him. Luckily, a few of her teammates arrive just in time to help her out. Then Sae is informed that the cavalry battle is about to begin. In this game, girls are carried by their teammates and try to snatch headbands from opponents on other teams. Sae is positioned at the bottom, supporting a girl on one leg while trying to stay balanced. Because the girls on top are fiercely battling, Sae ends up getting hit several times, but she refuses to let go and keeps holding her up until the end. Their team ultimately wins the match. As Sae catches her breath, she notices how the other girls still look composed and dazzling despite the intense game, while she herself looks completely worn out. The next match is the boys' cavalry battle, so Sae steps aside to give space for the audience. The game begins and Koki leads his team as their general cavalry. The match is intense, but Koki gives his all. In the end, he manages to take down the opposing general, securing victory for his team. The crowd erupts in cheers and Sae can't help but feel proud of him, even though their eyes don't meet. As the sports fest continues, the games proceed one after another. Sae participates enthusiastically, but when she draws her instruction card, it surprises her. It says, "Bring someone you love." Her eyes instinctively land on Koki, but she quickly shakes the thought away and decides to grab her friend Ray instead. They pretend to be in love as they run toward the goal. While resting, Sae wonders who could have snuck that card into the game, but before she can think further, Koki suddenly runs toward her holding his own card for the same scavenger hunt. She pretends not to hear him at first, but he keeps calling her name until he reaches her and pulls her along. They dash toward the leader, who is about to read the instructions. Koki tries to stop him, but the leader announces it anyway, a tall girl. With this, Sae awkwardly forces a smile and heads back. She knows what the leader said is true, but hearing it from Koki still stings, as she's always wanted him to see her differently. Tears threaten to fall, but Koki suddenly comes running after her to explain himself. He admits that the card actually said a cute girl, and she was the first person who came to his mind. He was too embarrassed to let the leader say it out loud, so he quickly signaled for him to make something up instead. Hearing this, Sae finds herself growing even more attached to Koki. For the rest of the sports fest, she continues to cheer for him. Time passes and the day of their entrance exams arrives. Both Sae and Koki take the test for North High. Sae tells herself she shouldn't love him anymore, he feels out of reach now. But when the results come out, she realizes there's no rule against falling in love. She looks his way and sees he passed too. There they exchange warm, genuine smiles. On the day of their graduation, Koki approaches Sae and asks to take a photo together, saying his mom requested it. They stand side by side and snap the picture, but Koki suddenly realizes he's standing a little too close. Sae feels flustered but asks him to send her the photo as well. They exchange contact information, telling each other it'll be useful since they'll be in the same high school, and they hope to be in the same class. Afterward, they chat about various things like the Kohaku Manju sweets sold during graduation. To Sae's surprise, Koki hands her his Kohaku Manju as a small gift and says he's looking forward to spending high school with her. Sae can't help but admire him deeply. On the first day of school, Sae discovers that she's in the same class as Koki. As she makes her way to the classroom, she reflects on how this time she wants to take her shot, and the universe seems to be giving her a sign to go for it. But before she reaches the door, Hisui suddenly slips down the stairs and Sae instinctively catches her just in time. Right after, she coincidentally bumps into Koki, who sees her in that awkward position. He greets her warmly, clearly happy that they're classmates again. Meanwhile, Sae's mind goes completely blank, thinking about how cool he looks in his new uniform. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every week.